Last week, I took my wife out to gin, as I do many weeks, and the waitress smiled, came up to the table and said, "Hello, how are you?" And I said, "Fantastic." Now, she almost fell backwards, but she said, "Oh, wow, that's great." When I meet people, I often ask them the same question. We all do. "Hello, how are you?" Do you know how often I get the response, "Not bad"? I mean, not bad. What sort of a response is not bad? My philosophy is we should always feel fantastic, because if you're watching this video, you got up this morning. And if you got up this morning, you've got to remember that 37,000 people around the world or more did not. My question though is this: is it possible to feel happy without being in la la land the majority of the time? Is there something we can do that will actually allow us to feel happy most of the time? And that's the question I want to answer in this video. G'day and welcome. My name is Willem, and on this channel I share the philosophies and the wisdom that Mr. Jim Rohn shared with me over 30 years ago. By consistently applying and being very disciplined in the strategies he taught me, I've been able to live a life on my terms, and I know that if you take action on the things I share on this channel, you can do the same. Now, we all have challenges and low points in our lives. Lord knows we all have enough stress. It's just a part though of being alive. It's a part of being a human being. But the question is often asked is, how can we be happier? And can we be happy the majority of the time? Well, here's what Mr. Rohn said about happiness. Happiness is not something you postpone for the future. It is something you design for the present. Now, before I met Mr. Rohn, in my 20s and my early 30s, I didn't know you could actually design your happiness, that you could actually have a happiness plan. I thought happiness was something that happened to you, like winning the lottery, and it sort of came out of the blue when you least expected it. But Mr. Rohn gave me a completely new way of looking at happiness. He said that you could design it, you could actually plan for it, and that got my interest. In his book, No Excuses, Brian Tracy makes the assertion that we are happy according to the law of control. And the law of control says this: we are happy in direct proportion to how much we feel in control of our own lives. Now, psychologists call this the locus of control, and there is an external locus of control and an internal locus of control. People that have a leaning towards an external locus of control feel that they are at the mercy of everything that happens around them. They're at the mercy of the weather, their employers, the government. They feel they're not in control of where they go. People with a high level of an internal locus of control believe that they are in control. They're in the driver's seat of their lives. They decide where they're going and what direction their lives are taking them. They're not worried about the things outside of their control that they can't do anything about. The key then to an internal locus of control is to decide today that you are going to take charge of your life. It's your life. You're going to live it on your terms. Happiness is not something that you leave to chance. It is the byproduct of what you get when you are fully engaged with what you're doing, that you really enjoy what you're doing, you believe it's worthwhile, and when you are in the company of people you like and respect. Now, Brian Tracy in his book says that there are 5 ingredients to happiness. These ingredients will transform you from an external locus of control to an internal locus of control where you feel you are living life on your terms. So let's dive straight into them. And if you hang around to the end, I will give you a bonus tip, a 6th tip that I believe is critical to being happy most of the time. So the first ingredient is health and energy. And I'm sure you're not surprised by that one. I think we all know what's required to live a fairly long and happy life. We hear this all the time. It's very common sense, but unfortunately, it's still not common practice. I had a great tip from someone not so long ago. They said, stay away from the aisles, the middle of the supermarket. Stick to the perimeter of the supermarket, because that's where the unprocessed food is kept. Your meats, your dairy, your vegetables. Don't even bother going down the aisles, because that's where all the crap is. Anyway, I thought that was a really good tip. So that's number one, health and energy. Number two, unsurprisingly, is have great relationships. The longest study ever taken on human development, called the Harvard Study of Human Development, says that undoubtedly and unequivocally the key to being happy in your old age is the relationships that you nurture along the way. So please don't take your relationships for granted. Thank your spouse, thank your partner for the part they play in your life. Get round, enjoy the company of others. It's so critical to being happy. Ingredient 3 is meaningful work. It's so important to feel that what you're doing is worthwhile and making a contribution. I remembered before I actually got into the cleaning game over 20 years ago, for a very short time in between running my own cafe, I actually worked for a corporation here in Melbourne, and they basically ran slot machines or poker machines. And my job as an area manager was to visit the sites and help them with marketing and that sort of thing. And I remember coming to a hotel once, and there was a little girl there. She couldn't have been more than 4 or 5. And this was like at 7:30 in the morning. And she was standing at the door, because if you're underage, you're not allowed in the room where they keep the poker machines. And she was standing at the door of this lounge, and as I was walking in towards it to see the manager, she said to me, "Oh yeah, my daddy's in there." I resigned that night. I couldn't do something that I didn't believe was making a difference. So that's ingredient number 3. Make sure you're involved in meaningful work, something that you believe is giving your life purpose. Now, ingredient 4 is financial independence. I've said this before on my channel, and I'll say it again, I have no doubt. It was Zig Ziglar who said, money isn't everything, but it is right up there with oxygen. The reality of life, especially in first world countries like many of us are living in, is that if we have financial stress, everything else falls apart. If our finances are in order, everything just seems to go more easily. And so I would ask you seriously to set a goal to become financially independent as soon as possible. If you get your money worries out of the way, if you can actually afford to live on your own assets, on the income of your own assets and your own resources without needing the government, without welfare payments, I promise you, life looks pretty rosy. Because I've been on both sides and I know which one I prefer. So that's ingredient number 4. As soon as possible, find a way to become financially independent. Now, before we go to ingredient number 5, could I ask you to like this video, and if you found it useful, even consider subscribing and pushing that notification bell. I put a video out every week. It's a commitment I essentially have made to myself. Mr. Rohn has had an enormous impact on me. His philosophies have allowed me, as I said in the introduction, to live a life on my own terms. His teachings have made me financially independent, and I feel I need to pay forward on what he taught me. So consider subscribing. I do put a video out every week, and I have committed to doing that for the next 2 years. Now let's go to ingredient number 5. Now, ingredient number 5 is self-actualization. And self-actualization is the state where you believe you are becoming everything of which you are capable. And it's a great, great feeling. It does make you happy. There's a reason why I still read. I study every day. I commit to reading at least 15 to 20 minutes every morning because there is just so much I still want to learn. Mr. Rohn always said that he believed nothing messes with the human mind more than being less of what you're truly capable of being. He always asked the question, how high would a tree grow? As high as it can. Only human beings limit their own personal abilities. I would ask you not to do that. I ask you to take ingredient number 5 very seriously. Become everything of which you are capable. Now, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned a bonus tip, and it's this. Smile and give genuine compliments to people. Take a leaf out of my book, What Happened to Me at Lunch This Week. When someone asks you, hey, how are you going? How are you? Say, I am fantastic. Now, you might feel a little uncomfortable doing that, and you might even get some strange looks, but I can tell you, I do it a lot, much to my wife's chagrin, because she knows I'm going to do it. But I tell you, the smiles you get, the compliments you get, the wow, that is fantastic, it really does make your day. It makes you happy. So smile and give genuine compliments to people. It's not hard to compliment someone in a genuine way. Most of us try to look good, look our best when we go out. What's wrong with saying to someone, hey, you look great today. By the way, I love what you've done with your hair. I like your makeup. I like that dress you're wearing, the shirt you're wearing. It's really not that hard to compliment someone. So that's bonus tip number 6, smile and provide genuine compliments. Now, if you enjoyed this video, and I certainly hope you did, you'd probably be interested in some of the other philosophies I've shared that Mr. Rohn shared with me. If you are, they're available on this playlist up here, which I'll put up in the corner, and you can have a look at those, and I'm sure you would enjoy those if you've enjoyed this video. Now, please go out, practice these 5 ingredients to happiness. Go from an external locus of control to a complete internal locus of control where you are living your life on your terms. If you do, you will thank me later.